Hello all, a belated video response, but I didn't know Venomfangx was back. As usual, there are a load of stupid comments below.
Measure a stupid shit painting all you fucking like, but when you get cancer I hope there's no science that can cure you.
That's from Wicket123. Fractal Fires and Nashtac go off at a tangent, and there's more irrelevancy, this time from CocoPuff123.
Aren't you glad for science? Because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't even be on YouTube, or have that green screen in your back, or the laptop behind you. You can't hate science. It's done so much for us.
Thus completely missing the point of the video. But context is everything, and because Venomfangx was such a knob in the past, people are naturally resistant to his message, because it comes from a face and voice that is inherently neurologically linked in many YouTubers' minds to being an arsewipe, and this is an association with a great deal of history and substance behind it. However, strip away his mug and deal with his argument for just a second. It was actually quite plausible. Science cannot detect a god if there is one. It can't measure creativity, philosophy, morality, although, it can measure the brain activity that's associated with these, but it's just not what it's used for, and a good thing too. I mean, you wouldn't use a speedometer to measure how hot a cake is, and you'd be an idiot to try. So what he's saying is that you shouldn't try to use science to detect God, because you'd be an idiot to try. And he's right. Flip this on its head and you get the argument that you can't disqualify the existence of God just because science hasn't detected it. And I agree with this. You would be an idiot to disagree, quite frankly, or you've become so militant in atheism that you've given up your critical faculties. And to add my own point, people often forget how limited humans are. I mean, we only have 5 senses to make very limited sense of the universe, although science has provided us with extra abilities to detect phenomena undetectable by our senses alone. But even then, we've got to interpret all this through our limited senses. Now, science relies heavily on imagination. Ask Einstein if he disagree, who said,
Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we know now and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand.
But science has no way of measuring imagination. Now, the point I want to make is that none of this is attacking science. And there is this kind of habit of knee-jerk reaction to this point, of people defending science pointlessly. If I criticise our speedometer in the previous example for failing to measure the temperature of the cake, what does this mean? Well, nothing. It's a non sequitur, and you'd be a bit of a fool to stick up for a speedometer after I make this observation. YouTube user SpeedLove69 comments,
Shut up, you dickhead. If it wasn't for a speedometer, you'd break the speed limit and go to prison, where you'd probably get bummed.
So, what's your point? I was talking about a speedometer measuring heat, and since it's not for measuring heat, it's no criticism to say it can't measure heat. It's just an observation, and a meaningless one on its own. So why is Venomfangx making this obvious observation? Because I can't help but find myself agreeing with him. Because what he's saying is reasonable, and shouldn't really be challenged by anyone with any idea of what the function of science is. Yes, you heard me, I agree with Venomfangx. Right up to the point where he lists the Bible interview. Did you notice that? Yeah, I noticed that. He skipped a few steps there. I mean, even if there is a creator, even if it is undetectable by science, even if there is a message from this creator, even if I agree with all this, how many steps do you need to skip to pull out the Bible? Why this God Yahweh? Why this particular cult of Abrahamic monotheism? Why this particular version of this particular book? In fact, why this particular collection of this already heavily edited series of writings from so many human sources? Which bits of this book is God delivering the message in? All of it? Some of it? I'm sure you can come up with a load more questions which leap to mind. So this video started reasonably enough and carried on in the same vein. Then it just got all too daft. And in picking up the Bible, Venomfang thought he was showing an answer, but actually all he was really showing was a load of questions. He was so close to being reasonable. Close, Venomfangx, but no cigar.